Hello and welcome to the topic data structure and overview. A data is a collection of raw facts, which is like a measurement, a value, or something like a name, etc. Whereas the data structure it's a particular way of storing data or organizing data inside the computer so that it can effectively used later. Why we require a data structure? Human requirements are becoming complex day by day, and all this data cannot be stored in the same way because a compiler may require a structure which is different from the trees. So all this kind of data have to be stored in different manners, so they require different kind of data structures. That is, if we store a data in a systematic way, it can improve the performance of the system also. These are the classification of data structure. By broadly saying, we can say that there are two kinds of data structure, which is simple and compound data structure. Simple data structure means it is the built-in data types or fundamental data types like integer, float, character, pointers, etc. Whereas the compound data structure is almost which is derived from the built-in or primitive data types. We can say it as a primitive and non-primitive. There are different kind of classification like primitive and non-primitive, which is similar to simple and compound. Whereas there are another kind of classification which is static and dynamic, which is based on the type of memory allocation. Here the compound data structure is linear and non-linear data structures. It is based on how how the data is stored in the system. In linear it will be in a sequential manner. In non-linear it will be in a non-sequential manner. The linear data structure can be again classified as arrays, linked lists, stack, queues, etc. Then non-linear data structure can be again classified as trees, graphs and files. These are the classification, simple and compound. Then this is the definition of linear and non-linear data structure. In a linear data structure, each of the data element will be connected to another single data element and it will be stored in a sequential manner, and so we can traverse or print all these elements in the single run itself. Example for these are the arrays, linked lists, queues and stacks. Then in non-linear data structure, the data will be in a will be arranged in a non-sequential manner or in a hierarchical manner, just like a tree or a graph. We'll see all these things in a detail. These are some examples for the data structure, which is creation. As the name suggests, it will create a data structure. Insertion, or adding a new element to the already created data structure. Then deleting an element, traversal or display. This traversal display is just like printing and different elements, printing elements in the data structure itself. We can sometimes call it as visiting also. These are all the different names for printing the data. Traversal, display, visiting, printing, all these are same. Then sorting of elements, or that means arranging elements in ascending or descending order, searching for an element in a list or merging different elements. All these are the some kind of operations for data structures. Then this is the different type of, we'll discuss all these things, all these data structures briefly. We'll discuss it more in another videos. So the first one is the array. Array means the data elements will be stored in the contiguous memory location. Contiguous means we all know that it is in the adjacent memory location. That is, if the first element is in the 100th location, the next element will be the 101th location. Just like that, it will be stored in the contiguous memory location. Also, by definition, we can say that an array is a collection of similar kind of data types which is stored in the single name. We know the definition, or a collection of same type of data. That is the important thing. Same type of data will be stored in the, if it is an integer array, only the integer elements will be stored. If it is a character array, only character elements will be stored, just like that. And also it is a static data element. That means the memory will be allocated at the time of compilation itself, and it will have a fixed size also. So at the time of compilation itself, we have to specify the type, data type and the size of the array, so that the memory will be allocated at that time itself. These are some examples for arrays: array of integers and array of characters. The memory requirements will be depends on the what kind of data the array is storing. That is, for integers, each integer requires 2 bytes or 4 bytes as per the system requirements. Then for a character, a single byte is required for each character. So the memory requirement will be based on the data type inside the array. The next is a linked list, in which the data will be stored in a non-contiguous location. That means they won't be stored in adjacent memory locations. The data can be stored wherever the free memory is available. That means suppose this is a memory location. This is a memory pool in which the data elements can be stored. 17 is the first element in the list, and 23 is the next element, and so on. Suppose this 17 is stored in the 100th location, and the next free memory is available in the 150th location, and 101th location is not available, and the next free memory is available at 150th location. So we can store the second element in that location. Suppose the next memory location is available in 200th location, and so on. So all these elements is in a scattered manner, and they are not connected in each other. So we have to connect it some way. That's why we are using the linked list there. That is, each data element can have two parts. One is for storing the data part, that is the 17. Another is an address part, which is used to store the address of the next location or next data element in the list. So the address of this 23 or this data element will be stored in here. This part will contain the address of this location, and the address of 55 will be stored here. And just like this, we can connect all these elements even though they are scattered in different locations. So we can effectively utilize the free memory in the memory pool than the arrays. The drawback of the array is that in order to store 10 elements, we have to get the free memory adjacent 10 locations freely. So this is a disadvantage of the array and advantage of linked list. Array was a static data structure, whereas the linked list is a dynamic data structure, because the memory will be allocated only at the time of runtime or execution time, because the memory can be allocated at the time of requirement or when it is required only. So there is no need of advance declaration or advance memory allocation, just like in array. So we can allocate only if it is needed. And another peculiarity is that we can deallocate the memory if it is not required also. So this is the advantage of linked list. And the drawback of linked list is that for each data element, an additional address part also should be there to connect the next element. This is a disadvantage also. And the next one is the stack. Compared to stack, queue and trees, this array and linked list is a basic data structure, because this stack, queue, trees and graphs can be implemented using this array or linked list based on whether the static or dynamic allocation is required. So we'll move on to the stack. Stack is a data structure in which the insertion and deletion can be done through the single end or the same end. In arrays and linked list, we can insert or delete through any side. Wherever we required, we can insert the data. But in stack, only the topmost position can be used to insert and delete the data. Just like in figure, this is a figure. This is the end through which we can insert or delete the elements. So that's why we are calling it as last in first out or LIFO. We will discuss the application of all these things later. Another one is the queue, which is almost similar to the real life examples for stack is in piles of plates or piles of books or stacks of books, whereas the real life example for queue is just like the queue itself that we are using. That is the first one in the queue, that is first one who are inserted in this queue will be deleted first, or they will come out first, just like in a real life queue. So it is called the FIFO, or first in first out. All these data structures are created based on the requirements of data storage, because in some time, like priority queue and all, printing queue and all, the first requirement or first request has to be performed first, whereas in stack and all, the last inserted has to be request has to be performed first. So in queue it is a double-ended data structure. That means the insertion can be done through one end, which is called the rear end, and the deletion can be done through another end, which is called the front end. So insertion and deletion can be done through different ends. This is the queue. And the next one is the tree. From here onwards, we will discuss about the nonlinear data structure, in which the data will not be saved or stored in a sequential manner. That can be here we are discussing about trees and graphs. Two kinds of nonlinear data structures are there. In graph, it is a generalized case of tree, in which there is no restrictions for storing data, or any data can be connected to any other element in the graph. But in tree, there is a even though it is not connected in a sequential manner, it is arranged in a hierarchical manner. That is, a parent-child relationship will be there between the elements. Here we are discussing about some trees like general tree and binary tree. Before going to that descriptions, we have to know some basic terminologies of trees. That is, the round shaped thing is called the nodes. The nodes will contain the values. It can be integer value, float value, or character, anything can be there. And this is the edge. This line is called the edge, which is connecting different nodes in the tree. And this is a parent of these nodes. That is, these are the child nodes, and this is the parent node. Here, this is the child node, and this is the parent node. So same node can be act as a parent or child node. And here is a node which is called root, which is the topmost node, and it will not have any parent node. So root will not have parent. At the same time, these are the nodes which do not have children also, which is called the leaf nodes. This is a leaf. So these are the leaf nodes, and this is a root node. Root will not have parent node, and leaf will not have child nodes. So that is the basic terminologies. We'll move to the general tree. General tree means a node in a node in tree can be connected to any number of children. That is, a node can have any number of children. Here this node have 2 children. It has 1 and it has 3. It can have 4 or 5. Any number of children can be there for a node. In such trees are called the general trees. Whereas binary tree can have at most 2 children for each node. That means it can have 0 child or no children, or 1 child or 2 children. This 2 children means it can be a left child and a right child. Here these are this parent node have this left child and right child. Here also it can be, sometimes it can be this parent may have this node is not there, this right child only here, and sometimes it can have left child only, and all these are called the binary trees. There are different kind of trees like AVL tree, B tree, B plus tree, red black tree. All these are different kinds of trees, and all these are made based on how to make the searching more faster and faster. So we are not discussing all this here. So this much is about the trees, and we'll move to the graph. We have already told that graph is a generalized form of a tree. That is, a tree has a hierarchical structure, but here in graph there is no such constraints. Any node can be connected to any other node, and it can have any shapes. Like here, these all are different kinds of graphs, so it can be drawn in any shape. Here by definition a graph is called as it can be represented as G is equal to VE. This is the ordered pair. This is called the ordered pair VE, where V is the set of vertices and E is the set of edges. That is, these are the vertices. This black colored things is called the vertex, or these are all called the vertices, and these are the edges. So the capital V will include the values of these four, and the edges will contain the values of the ordered pair of all these edges. So an edge can be represented using ordered pair of the starting vertex and the ending vertex. So that much about the basic terminologies of graph. And there are three kinds of graphs are here mentioned here, which is undirected graph, directed graph, and weighted graph. Undirected graph means there is no direction shown in the graph, which is like this. And in the directed graph, the direction will be shown in an arrow mark will be shown in the graph, which is showing the direction in which the path is moving. What is the difference between this direction showing and all? In this, there is an edge between this two vertices. Suppose it is A, this is A and this is B. Then this path, there are two paths between. A single edge can show two paths, which is A, B, ordered pair A comma B and ordered pair B comma A. Two paths are possible here because no direction is shown here. So that is the case of undirected graph. But in this case, in directed graph, if this is A and this is B, since it is showing the arrow mark, a single path exists between this, which is the A comma B, and B comma A is not possible here, and such path doesn't exist here. So that is the difference between directed graph and undirected graph. Then the next comes the weighted graph. These graphs are used in so many real life applications like traveling salesman, then shortest path algorithms and all. In all these cases, the cost of this edge have to be shown there. That is, some value will be there near to the edge. So here the edge is shown here. This is the undirected graph, this is the directed graph, and this is a weighted graph. We can see the differences between each of these things. So this value sometimes it can be any type of measurements based on the type of graph, what graph it is. That is, in the shortest path algorithm, it can be, this vertices may be different cities. It can be a Calicut and Malappuram. It can be any different cities, and this edge will show the distance between these two cities. So in that case, it is a distance between two cities. It can be any kind of measurements based on the type of graph. So that is a weighted graph. And that's all about the different types of linear and non-linear data structures. We are just give a brief introduction of all these data structure. We are not going any details. We'll do it in another videos. So we'll give a brief description about the application of all these data structures. We are not going to describe the application of array and linked list, because it is here it is considered as the basic building blocks for stacks and queues and trees, etc. So we'll start from the stack. The application of stack contain this much are the applications. Here the recursion, first one is the recursion. Recursion means we know that a function is calling itself until a terminating condition occurs. The function will be called so many times. So in whenever the function is calling itself, it has that much amount of data, or the context has to be stored somewhere before it is going to before the control is going to somewhere else. So at that time the context will be stored in the stack, and each function call will have a push to the stack, and the final call will be at the last will be stored as the last element in the stack, and so that it can be popped at first. So that is the recursion, and similar cases there for the normal function calling. And then comes the string reversal, which means a string, if we want to reverse a string, we have to push each character from the string one by one from left to right till the end, and after we pushed all the characters, we can pop one by one. If we pop this, we will get the string in the reverse order. And next one is the parenthesis checking. That means in nested parenthesis case, that means some arithmetic expressions can have different nested parentheses and all. So in that cases, the nested parenthesis means parenthesis inside the another parenthesis. So in that case, the stack has to check whether the number of opening and closing parentheses are same. If it is not same, then the stack will consider it as the invalid expression. In such cases, the stack is using there. And next comes the arithmetic expression conversion and evaluation. That is, there are three types of expressions are there: infix, prefix and postfix. And that cases we have to convert all these things from one each other, from that means from infix to postfix or postfix to infix, etc. In all these cases, we are using stack for the conversion process. Similarly for the postfix evaluation. Then different backtracking algorithms are there in data structure. In such cases, the stacks are using. Then the page visit to store the page visited history in the web browser. The undo sequence, undo process, while doing undo process, we are using the stack. Then comes the queue. Queue means we have seen that the queue means the first in first out. That means mainly we are using this in the shared resource management and all. That is, the first request will be performed first. It will be handled first. In printing case also, print queue also, the first request will be whenever so many devices are trying to access the single resource or printer, the first request has to be handled first. Another cases are CPU scheduling, disk scheduling, IO buffers, pipes, keyboard buffers, etc. In all these cases, the request will be handled first come, first serve manner. Then comes the trees. Tree, we have seen that the tree has a hierarchical structure, that is a parent-child relationship. So it is more suitable for storing the file systems, like the root will be there, root directory will be there, and after that the subdirectories will be there. Then comes the file system, etc. So in such cases where the hierarchical data has to be manipulated, we can use the trees. Then comes the database creation. That is, if we want to store large amount of data, the trees are more suitable to handle such cases. Especially the B trees and B plus trees are more suitable for such cases. Then faster searching. We said that there are different kinds of searching trees. That is, binary search trees, then AVL trees, red black trees, all these things are there. They are specialized kind of trees which is meant for making the searching more and more faster. And the router algorithms, dictionary and all, these are the different situations where trees are suitable. Then comes the graphs. We said that we are using this graphs in finding shortest route between different cities, like Google Maps and all. So then comes searching, then social network connection. That means the Facebook is using graphs to find out the different connection, that is friend list, to find out the friends where they are using the graphs. Internet routing, traveling salesman problem. And the future shopping prediction means Amazon is using this kind of future shopping prediction cases. These are the different applications of the stack. So the final thing is how to select a data structure. That is we have discussed about so many kind of data structure, and each have their own peculiarities. And how can we say that which is best? We cannot say that which this is better and this is worse, because each data structure has its own peculiarity. So before going to choose a data structure, the programmer has to analyze what is his problem and what is his need to improve the performance of his program. So in some cases, for example, for larger databases and all, for storing the data, B plus trees are better. But for searching in a small database or a data set, the hash table will give more faster searching than the B plus trees. So both are good, but it is depends upon the situation. So selecting a data structure, we have to select a data structure which is that best meets its requirements. So we have to take care of this kind of things while selecting a data structure. We cannot see that this is better and this is worse. So do all these things before selecting a data structure. And that much is about my topic, and thank you for watching my video.